watching the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on DC News Now. We'll get to those top stories in just a few minutes. I'm Haley Mylon. First, we're going to check in with Brittany Ward on the weather. Brittany, the Roslyn skyline looking beautiful this Saturday morning, and you promised us a good one.
Yeah, you know what? Today is definitely going to be the pick of the weekend, Haley. We're going to be dealing with sunshine throughout much of the day today, warm temperatures and dry conditions. So a good way, I guess, is what I meant to say, to start off the weekend. Here's a look at satellite and radar showing you the wider view, dry conditions across the area, holding on to a few clouds across portions of the DMV, but overall it is a quiet start. All thanks to high pressure just off to the south. That'll continue to dominate our weather pattern as we head through your day today. But then notice further off to the west, we're starting to see a storm system cook up that will move its way into the DMV as we head through your day on Sunday, sparking up some isolated showers. So temperature wise, not looking too bad at all. We're already sitting in the 70s here in the nation's capital, 72 currently there, 73 as you head over there to Lexington Park. Then notice further off to the north and the west, we're starting to see those temperatures in the upper 50s to mid 60s. 58 currently in Kaiser, 65 right now in Hagerstown, 55 in Woodstock. Not only are we dealing with the warm temperatures, but the dew points are on the lower side, making it feel really comfortable across the area. Dew point temperatures right now at this hour sitting in the lower to upper 50s. Lots of dry air in the atmosphere, and that will continue to be the trend as we head through the weekend and even for the first half of the work week. So overall, guys, get outside and enjoy your Saturday. Now, for your breakfast forecast, we'll continue to see those temperatures get into the 70s as we head right around that 10 to even 11 o'clock hour. Notice lots of sunshine will be seen across the entire DMV. So overall, any Saturday plans, still go out there, still do them. If you plan on heading to the Capitol Pride Parade, not going to be a bad forecast at all. But tomorrow, if you have any outdoor plans, you may want to plan to bring the umbrella. So keep it here. We'll break down that 8-day coming up.
Thanks, Brittany. And our top story this morning, kicking off Pride weekend. The city hosted a 5K yesterday at the historical Congressional Cemetery, and our Daniel Hamburg has all the details.
We like to say that we get your Pride weekend off to a running start.
For the 12th year, the DC Frontrunners Pride Run 5K is the adrenaline needed for a long weekend ahead.
This is a really fun event. It's a really great way to kick off Pride weekend. It's a signature thing that if you're in the athletic community here, people come. Even if you're not in the athletic community, people come.
It's all for a good cause, raising money for local LGBTQ charities.
We try to get the money in the community, and last year we were able to donate $55,000 from this race to our local charities.
Many runners are getting ready for the biggest event on Saturday.
I'm actually marching in the parade tomorrow. So, yeah, I'm super excited. This is my first year to march in the parade.
This year, bigger than ever.
The parade route is going to be amazingly new this year. We're going straight down 14th Street, then taking a left on Pennsylvania, ending and dispersing on 9th in Pennsylvania.
Capitol Pride Alliance Board President Ashley Smith says barriers on 14th Street will go up first thing in the morning, even more than in years past.
Being a member of the LGBTQ plus community, we're constantly under attack. And the key piece is that Pride is our celebration. It is time for us to be able to come together, rally together, and support one another. And that's what the Pride is all about.
Daniel Hamburg, thank you for that reporting. And starting at 14th Street and T Street, the parade will kick off at 3 p.m. today. Though it won't go through DuPont Circle as usual. The 17th Street block party is still happening there, though. That starts at noon, and tons of events all day and all night to check out across the district. You can learn more about the parade. Go over to dcnewsnow.com. And with Pride, there will be road closures and parking restrictions. So closures started earlier this morning and go through 1 a.m. on Sunday morning. Now, some of the closures include 17th Street from New Hampshire Avenue to Massachusetts Northwest, Church Street from 18th to 16th, and closures that begin at 10 a.m. just a couple hours from now, 15th Street from U Street to Mass Ave, and from T Street from 16th to 14th Northwest. And for a full list of closures to plan your route, head over to dcnewsnow.com. And don't forget, you can catch the DC News Now team at the Capitol Pride Parade today. Stop by and say hi. We'll be out at the event from 3 until 7:30. Well, breaking news this morning, D.C. police are investigating an alleged armed robbery. It happened in the 4000 block of 8th Street Northwest. That's not far from the Petworth area. Police say they're looking for 4 men wearing masks and dark clothing. They reportedly have 2 firearms and were last seen in a dark vehicle traveling southbound on 8th Street. Police say do not confront the men if you think you spot them, but do call 911. In Arlington, a boil advisory is in effect for hundreds of residents. This comes after a water main break on South Walter Reed Drive. South Walter Reed remains closed for the repairs, and people impacted need to know that water is safe for just showering and washing clothes, but it has to be boiled for at least a minute for any kind of consumption. That includes brushing your teeth, washing your produce, and giving it to your pets. This advisory is expected to be in place until tomorrow morning. Now, for a full list of impacted areas, go to arlingtonva.com. Happening today, the Maryland Department of Public Service is holding a funeral for Agent Davis Martinez. Martinez was killed last week after checking in on 54-year-old sex offender Emmanuel Sewell. Sewell was caught and arrested while driving in West Virginia and is expected to be charged with second-degree murder upon his extradition. Maryland law enforcement is honoring Martinez's memory at Living Word International Christian Church at 11 a.m. That's on New Hampshire Ave in Silver Spring. Cleanup continues in Gaithersburg, Maryland this weekend, coming after 7 tornadoes across the DMV were confirmed by the National Weather Service. Our Kevon Dupree went out to the Deer Park neighborhood and shares how people there have been impacted.
The National Weather Service says there were 7 confirmed tornadoes across the DMV Wednesday evening. One of those storms, an EF1 tornado, touched down right here in the Deer Park neighborhood. Smashed cars, condemned homes, and debris-filled streets, all a result of Wednesday's tornado that reached a peak wind speed of around 105 miles per hour. One neighbor says he was sitting in his living room Wednesday evening when heavy winds suddenly started rattling his home.
I came to the front door and I saw the tube, not the tube, but just circular air.
He says the storm was on a direct path toward him.
Once it got to about literally in front of my house, it just kind of stopped.
However, one of his neighbors, who he talks with often, wasn't as fortunate. A large tree fell through his house.
I went and I was just watching, trying to see if I could, see him, and I made eye contact with him, gave him a thumbs up. He gave a thumbs up back. Everybody was good at that point, so I knew they were okay, but, they were bloodied.
The 5 people inside the home were taken to the hospital to be treated for their injuries. The homeowner, now back at his property, starting to clear the wreckage left by the storm.
I told him, I was like, if you need anything, and, I have a shop in my house, so I told him, I was like, if you need me to help build something or, anything like that.
The National Weather Service says Wednesday's tornado outbreak started in Inwood, West Virginia, and ended in Columbia, Maryland. Reporting in Gaithersburg, I'm Kevon Dupree, DC News Now.
Kevon, thank you for that reporting. Lots of destruction there. Well, 2 Virginia counties are adding additional voting sites starting today. 13 new locations will open in Fairfax County, and in Loudoun County there will be 3 new early voting locations as well. Virginia's primary takes place on June 18th. Well, yesterday, the community came together to help reduce gun violence, especially among the youth. The Trigger Project is hosting the 4th annual End Gun Violence Citywide Conference. Our Marielle Carbone was at the festival. She tells us how it all went down.
More than 70 people have been killed by gun violence so far this year, some of them just kids. Now today, all about breaking down barriers among the groups that are working to end this epidemic so the city can move forward together.
The youth of DC, especially the black kids, should be able to have a future. They should be able to grow up and be something.
It's a simple ask to be a kid, but teenager Cassidy Young says that's not the case for all young people in DC.
We should be able to live and do things that normal kids do without having to worry about getting shot.
So far this year, 30 juveniles have been shot in the district, 7 of them killed. An epidemic of gun violence, which 7th grade students at the social justice school are learning about.
It affects your mental health, how you work, how your body works.
Gun violence and preventing it, front center Friday.
Every day our youth get up and are bombarded with stereotypes.
As the 4th annual End Gun Violence Citywide Conference and Festival took over Franklin Park.
The disease is spreading immensely.
Tia Bell is the founder of the Trigger Project, which organized the event. She says the day is all about breaking down silos, opening up the dialogue between city services, advocates, parents, and more.
The young heart only can grow. The brain can only develop when adults around them interact adequately and intentionally.
Together, this group working to uplift our youth so that pulling a trigger is never an option.
When young people have opportunities, when young people get a chance to dream, when they have hope, they are safer to themselves and to everybody around them.
And Bell says this is actually the last festival she plans on doing. Instead, she wants to focus on implementing the prevention plans the groups have come up with instead of just organizing events around prevention. Reporting from Franklin Park, I'm Marielle Carbone, DC News Now.
All right, your time now, 8:11 on this Sunday morning, and overall not a bad breakfast forecast. We're going to be dealing with wall-to-wall sunshine as we head through much of your day today, with highs getting into the 80s. So keep it here. We'll have a full check of that 8-day coming up.